All right, everyone. Welcome to this full moon weekend Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for April 27th to the 29th of 2018. All right, so full moon in Virgo. If you were expecting me to say Scorpio or Libra, do check out the description down below for more information. We're using the actual size of the constellations called Sidereal Astrology. All right, so full moon in Virgo. This is the second one, actually. The last full moon we had here was here as well. So this continuous cultivation of the physical aspects of what has been a very spiritual time these past couple months. So Virgo is all about embodying the self-improvement, the personal development, the work, the day-to-day energy to really ground, you could say, our spirituality here on Earth. So themes pertaining to this, but really just this status check, seeing how things are going with these qualities of ourself. Doing a status check with our life in general is great, especially when it comes to our life path. The full moon will be squaring up to the North Node, which means roughly about 3 months ago, we did have a shift to our life path that now we can challenge ourselves to continue to develop. All right, so with this, the aspects are quite easy with the full moon. We do have a slight conjunction with Jupiter, a trine up to Neptune, a sextile up to Saturn. So let's look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the chart for the full moon, which will be at 19:13 or 7:13 p.m. Eastern Time in the Americas. So you can make that adjustment. For some of you, it will be early Monday. So at the very end of the weekend, essentially, we have this full moon. Here are the placements. We've got the full moon at the very end of Virgo, kind of close to Libra, actually. So there will be some carryover with that, which we'll look at. But in the constellation Virgo, nonetheless, does mean that, first of all, this is the high point of the lunar month. So it is always good to take some action, use this momentum we might have, especially because the sun has recently shifted into Aries, which is more of this active energy that has been developing. But Virgo is about cultivating now, collectively, more of these qualities of self-discipline, pragmatism, figuring out how things can be improved, fixed, organized, right? This type of stuff. Virgo is all about grounding what is the spiritual energy of Pisces, which we've had so much influence with these past couple months. Now, Mercury is, of course, still in Pisces, so we're still, I think, really integrating this spiritual quality with the day-to-day routine. Mercury, being the ruler of Virgo, emphasizes that it's still very much through this spiritual nature. It's through accepting of what is in the present moment, finding peace and tranquility in our life, which helps us with our routine, helps us with our work and all this grounded energy. So great to be developing all of this. I think if there's anything that you can do a status check with at this time to see how are these qualities going, self-discipline, self-improvement, our work, our day-to-day energy, our willingness to better things and better ourselves, our work, this type of stuff, really good to do this status check with and really start to shift with any new insights you may gain at this time, because the full moon is, of course, a time of insights. So I will put down in the comment section which house this will be for you personally. That'll give you a little bit more specific look at where this is taking place for you. All right, so let's take a look at some of these aspects. We do have the slight conjunction to Jupiter, very, very slight, which is leading into the Libra side of it a little bit. So it's also a great time with this Libra to do a status check with balance in our lives. On a personal level, how is balance in our life? Are there certain areas of life that are in balance? Are there some that are out of balance? How can we strive towards this? Now, in interpersonal relationships, which often is emphasized with Libra, is there balance as well? Reciprocity in relationships, harmony, cooperation, this type of stuff, again, great to do a status check with. Now, Jupiter's already been helping us learn a lot about this year since his recent shift into Libra this year, or later part of last year. So this new shift, yearly, in a yearly sense, of what we've been learning Great to be developing, great to shift and continue to cultivate with this. Now, Jupiter is, of course, the planet of opportunities, possibilities, and potentials. So great time to do a status check with those belief systems. How are we viewing things? What's our perspective of life? Are we open-minded about possibilities? Can we use a bit of this inspiration to tap into this spirit for life, even this adventurousness? These are all the things that we're sort of reconsidering right now with Jupiter retrograde, but will slightly be activated with this full moon. All right, and the full moon will be squaring up to the North Node. So I think this is probably the most important aspect with this, actually, in the sense that roughly about 3 months ago, we did take a shift along the life journey. So if you can think back to that time period, it would have been around February. Was there any shifts, any new insights you gained at that time that you've been working on and developing since then? Because now it's the halfway point with the eclipses, with the nodes, that we can now take some more steps in the right direction with. And so if there's anything you can set some intentions with for the next 3 months, as we get for the next eclipse cycle in 3 months from now, great time to set those intentions. And again, great time to challenge yourself with anything that has been shifting from the past 3 months. All right, so along with this, there is a trine up to Neptune. So I think there is collectively this willingness to go with the flow. Again, lots has been developed with Pisces, Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, suggesting some support here with this. Willing to go with the flow, be receptive, and I think really accept what is. I think we're willing to do that. I think it can be easier to do that at this time. And that is very much supporting what is, again, this very grounded energy of Virgo. All right, and slight sextile up to Saturn. Actually, it's pretty close sextile up to Saturn, but it's a minor aspect here. So good grounded energy, I think, as well. In fact, the sun is going to trine Saturn exact on Sunday, right before the full moon. So Saturn, the planet of patience, I think we can have some patience this full moon. I think we're willing to see the big picture. I think there's this groundedness available in the sense that it's about the long-term perspective, the responsible approach, right? This type of stuff, which is great, again, adding to this earthy energy of Virgo. Now, there is the fire in the mix, I do want to say, and it really is this sense of balance, as all full moons are. It is a time with the sun, like I said, in Aries, of taking this initiative, this action, gaining energy through taking this initiative. And so balancing that with whatever we're doing a status check with, right? With the routine, all right, we can have both the action and take care of the responsibilities, the day-to-day energy, right? And even with relationships, right? The counterbalance to Aries is about saying that while it is a time of being sort of self-oriented, it's also about balancing that with other orientation, right? How can we give? Again, find that harmony, that cooperation, that reciprocity that balances out Aries. All right, so that is the full moon in a nutshell. Here are the aspects for the weekend for those of you who do want to see the times with these. Again, the full moon will be at the very end of Sunday for most of us, 1913 Eastern Time. Now, I do want to say, as we go through this weekend, the moon will be in Virgo, so I think it's a great weekend for developing and continuing to cultivate a bit of this self-discipline, grounded energy, pragmatic energy. Now, Mars is also easing up off of this conjunction with Pluto, so there may have been this transformation from around the Wednesday, Thursday time period. That also makes it a great weekend for developing, right? If there's been any recent transformations, any rebirths, specifically to our desires or the things we want, right? This sort of death of the ego and rebirth of a fresh new start with that. Great weekend for cultivating that also. All right, Mercury will be trining the North Node on a minor note. Again, I think there's a lot to learn about our life path this weekend with this insight of the full moon, shifting and pivoting to continue to move that energy forward, especially from the past 3 months. All right, so that's the full moon in a nutshell. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you again for all of your likes, comments, and shares with these videos. And I will see you all Monday for the daily forecast.